What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Saturday night. We are joined by my special guest here, RobFindsTreasure, who is perfectly centered, in case you were wondering, Rob.
I was wondering because I moved it after you centered me.
Yeah. but guys, we've been doing this a couple of times now. About a month ago, we had Ravenhawk Coins on. A couple of weeks ago, we had Keith from the Coin Crew. Tonight, I'm finally joined by RobFindsTreasure. And I wanted to kind of get an update as to what's going on with Rob. But also, we're going to talk a little bit about silver tonight. And I wanted to talk about silver's nominal all-time high, which is, in my opinion, 2011. For you guys thinking 1980, we'll get to it first. But we'll get to it soon, I should say. But first, let's start off by seeing what's been going on with Rob. Rob, how you been, man?
I've been better. I don't know if the viewers know that more part of your community than mine, but I had a health scare the last 11 months and it's still not figured out, but they finally have me somewhat figured out with some meds. So I'm able to actually function, eat, and do the things that I'm able to do, where if you didn't know, I could barely eat for several months because either stomach or throat or some issues. But anyway, the medicine's better. I've been able to stay consistently streaming the last 3 months after having 6 weeks in a row where I was just bedridden. After thinking I was out of the problem, it just keeps, every 3 months it seems like it gets worse. But we've gone 3 months. It's the best 3 months I've had in the last 11 months. So hopefully we'll continue to get this stuff figured out. And I got my big appointment here at the end of the year. So that's what's going on with me as far as health-wise. But outside of that, my spirits are high. I mean, silver's high, gold's up. Anyone who stacks silver and gold, this has been a good last month, I guess, for us, maybe a little bit more than 4 weeks. But yeah, I'm doing well, and silver's up, and you can't get mad at that.
It's been a very good year. I know I've already said. Yeah. I know you don't watch all my videos, but I already said this, I think, in my video that I uploaded yesterday. But the beginning of this year, it was around 10 months ago, I did an interview with Josh from Coin and Bullion, where I said that I felt really good about this year. And I don't have that crystal ball. I could have been 100% wrong. I didn't have any evidence. I just had a feeling, and it feels good to see it actually, doing as well as it is right now. It's actually crazy to see that silver almost hit $35 an ounce earlier this week. And it felt good and it felt bad because, Rob, I don't know if you know the story. I had actually planned on, not 2 days ago, but the Thursday before, buying silver. And I thought I would wait because Friday, I'm used to seeing a little bit of a dip on Friday. I'm like, well, I'll hit that Friday dip and buy on Friday. And that's when it jacked up $2.02 in one day. I still haven't made that silver order yet. I don't know if, I know I say don't predict the market, but at the same time, it would feel so bad to order it that I'm like, do I really want to feel bad, or what am I doing here? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I got the same thing. I have a big RFT 2024 silver round order. Everything's pretty much done. I haven't locked in my silver price because when you buy a lot of rounds, I'm like, well, if I can get it, if it dips a couple of bucks, I'll buy it now. But you know how it goes. If I keep waiting as I have, it's $2 higher than my original estimate already. And so now if it dips $2, I'm back to where I was, hoping it would dip $2 more because I was like, man, it hit over 30 and I didn't lock my order in. And then it was locked in at 31.50 and I was like, it'll fall below 30. Then it went to 35 and now it's back to 33 something. And I'm like, you know what? Monday, I just should lock it in and be done because I don't play these games normally, but I was trying to save a few $100.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, that is how it tends to go when you try and predict this market and guess at what silver's going to do. I mean, I still am not over that. I don't know. First off, I wanted to talk to the people that are watching. We have 140. I'm hoping that we get a lot more. So share the stream out. But I wanted to talk to you guys that are watching right now. We would love to hear your questions. I love having Rob on, but keep in mind that I'm going to talk a lot more than Rob. Now, generally on these, I like to do more of the talking, but because of the health issues that Rob already talked about when he started, he asked me to try and help him not overdo it, and that's what I'm going to do. But I do want you guys to leave questions, and I'll do my best to answer them, and we'll obviously get Rob's input here as well, where we can, for sure. So
I do want to interject and apologize to the Seeker family here because originally it was at 7 p.m. I had made a scheduling problem. My daughter hasn't seen me in a few weeks, and she wanted to come see me, and I forgot she was coming over for dinner at 7 p.m. tonight. So I told Seeker this morning, is there any way to push it up so we could be done before 6 or 7? So apologize for the short notice. He had already put out an email and everything to everyone at 7, and I made him back it up to 5 if he could, and he accommodated me, and I know you guys did as well, so thank you for that.
For sure. And I know that at 7 o'clock, and Rob, this is, I promise, not a dig. I'm just saying, I know 7 o'clock more people are home, so we'd have more viewers. So I am expecting a lighter crowd, but hopefully people are watching this after that's live.
Yeah.
To get, you know, kind of listen to what we were talking about. Scorpio says, you only lose money when you sell at a loss. You can always hold it till it's over what you bought it at. That is accurate. But I guess, you know, what I'm thinking of, you know, I wasn't going to spend a certain dollar amount. I was going to buy a certain number of ounces. So that certain number of ounces is costing me more of the dollars that, you know, than I had planned on. And that's where it feels so bad. If it were to just been like, all right, well, I'm going to spend $500 on silver today, and it went up, I'm like, well, this sucks. I'm getting a little bit, but it literally, I had an ounce amount and that I was buying. So it definitely did not feel the best, for sure.
You think, Seeger, you were going to bring up 2011 versus now versus 1980. Do you have some thoughts on that while we wait for questions, maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. So listen, I wanted to talk about, you know, I get people talking about, every time I do a video on spot price, every time I do a video on silver going up, I always have people quoting 1980. And hey, J-Dog with the 5. Hey, Silver Seeker. Hey, Rob. J-Dog, thank you so much. So the reason that the market in 1980 is not one I like to refer to, because it was very clearly a market that was manipulated. Wow, we are losing a ton of frames. I know everyone's lagging. Guys, give me 1 second. We are not going to stop going live here, but I am going to fix something really quick, which I thought I fixed last week, but hold on 1 second. Okay, hopefully we are back. Let me know if we are back. We are back. All right. Well, Rob says we are back, but I'm wondering if everyone else can see if we're back or not. Maybe not better. I'm waiting for confirmation from the people watching that we are in fact.
It should be back now. That we start seeing some comments now if they're back.
Okay. We shall see. Because it definitely shows. Yeah, YouTube shows. We're here. All right, we're good. Sorry about that.
It does look better. Whatever you did looks a lot better.
Yeah, we were having all sorts of issues, so I just... So, anyway, the reason I brought it up is because I wanted to talk about, the nominal all-time high of silver, which, in my opinion, is 2011. Now, again, like I said, I get comments from people arguing all the time that 1980, $50, today would be like $200 an ounce. But I don't look at 1980 when I think about the all-time high of silver. Now, I do look at 2011 when I think of silver as nominal all-time high, which today, if you adjusted for inflation based on the government's inflation rate, and we are going to put that in quotations because we all know it's very conservative, would put silver at $70 an ounce for its actual all-time high. So we're not quite halfway there yet if you look at it on that basis. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And Rob, do you, when you, sound is in and out a bit for me. Anyone else having sound issues? I don't know. We'll keep on going while we're listening for Mike. But anyway, my point is $35 an ounce is not even halfway to the all-time high once adjusted for inflation. Michael Kirsch also says sound is going on and off. Oh man, technical difficulties.
And for you, that's weird. At least it's you and not me.
No,
audio
everyone
good on his end. Nope. Everyone said his.
Well, no, Joseph says sounds good here. Sounds good here for Gators.
Oh, he's saying, yeah, reload the stream if you're having bad sound. It could just be a glitch because we stopped the stream for a second.
Yeah, that is possible, guys. Try refreshing because I actually literally had to stop the stream data and then restart the stream to so that may have been the issue. Others are saying it's perfect. So if some people are hearing it perfect, that means that it's going through fine, and it might be something on that end. Rockzilla said he had to restart. So anyway, getting back to it, looking at considering 2011 as the actual all-time high, not 1980, given that we're not even halfway there, in my opinion, there's still a lot of room for growth in silver if we're going to compare it to 2011. But again, I say that with caution because there's always the opportunity, the ability for it to fall very, very quickly. Silver's very good at that. It's done it many times, even in this last 13 years since 2011, where we've had it go up and take pretty big dips. So Rob, with everything that I said right there, now you're off the air. With everything that I said right there, what are your thoughts going forward on silver? Are you still buying? I'm not asking you to predict spot price. I'm saying, what are you doing? Are you still buying at this number? Are you still hoping that it keeps going up? Or
Yeah, listen, dollar cost averaging is everything. DCA. I keep a spreadsheet for my permanent stack, but when I'm buying stuff to resell, I don't necessarily keep that in my permanent stack. So I'm not putting that in my spreadsheet. But I like to get an idea of where my I guess where it is all-time average cost in. I would share it with the group, but there's really no reason to do that. At the end of the day, we're $5 off the $40 in 2011. We're not even halfway at the all-time high. And I think silver is still a good stackable commodity, even at the current price, because I don't think, even though we're going to have some dips going up and down, I still think its trajectory in the next 5, 10, 15 years will keep going up, in my opinion.
Gotcha. Guys, we clearly are having serious technical issues. Some people are saying that like we are not there. Others are saying it's fine.
I think people are behind on the stream, and we went away for that little bit. They're still there. I think they need to refresh. When it was dropping frames, I bet you people fell behind.
Right. Because I've not dropped any frames. YouTube is showing that everything's fine. So, man, I hate that we're having so many issues tonight. This certainly was not what I was looking for. Let's see.
Well, we have 30 people leave right now to refresh, probably, because it went from 177 to 148. So
right.
Hopefully, I still have you live, no issues. Yeah, I see a lot of people saying no. I think everyone's saying it's good. It's off the air in Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks good on my. I have it up on my other side channel. It looks fine.
Okay. Well, this is not going to make it fun to watch back for people that want to watch this afterwards. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
That's unfortunate.
Let's keep on going. Refresh the stream, guys, if you see this. That's the only thing I can tell you to do. What were you saying, Rob? Let's get back into it, though.
Just bottom line is I think that if dollar cost averaging is everything. Yeah, it can be scary. I mean, if I'm a recent person to silver stacking and I'm going to start today, yeah, I'm not going to get the benefit of some of us in 17, 18, 19, when we had $16 an ounce. I mean, I'm not going to have, if I put $1,000 in 2017 at $16 an ounce, and I've been adding 100 ounces a year, I'm just throwing out numbers. You're okay adding another couple of hundred over the next year, even if it stays at $35. If I was starting today and I wanted to put 1,000 in, I'd probably be a little skeptical of putting that much in right away. I might put a smaller amount in and see what happens over the next 30 days because we're at kind of a high point. We've been at kind of a high point the last few weeks. History says we're probably going to see another little dip in the next couple of weeks. I'm not a predictor. It just kind of says there will be an equalization of that. So I probably would ride that a little bit myself personally. I would look for that.
Right, for sure. And that's kind of how I look at it. It's best to dollar cost average. And I'm sorry, I'm distracted here. My dog is having a nightmare next to me. It's definitely good, the dollar cost average, but at this point, for me, I actually still feel incredibly good about where silver is. While yes, I absolutely am not going to sit here and say that it's going to go to 70. I will 100% admit that we could see that massive pullback. And to be honest with you, I kind of expect the pullback you were talking about. I mean, that's why I didn't pull the trigger on the silver after it jumped $2 an ounce last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still eventually going to pull the trigger on that silver once I feel a little bit more. I'm comfortable with silver over 30. I'm even really comfortable with silver at 32. I'm just not necessarily super comfortable with silver at 34, 35, mainly because of how quickly it got there. You know what I mean?
How quickly it got there. Yep.
Right. When you see a $2 jump in one day, that's almost always prime for, somebody, a large whale to do some profit taking, which will push the price down. And speaking of profit taking, what about anti-profit with silver? We had, I was reading an article online and someone else had brought it up in the chat earlier about, what is it, like 5 different banks that are going to be taking a bath on silver if this price remains where it is because they were shorting it.
That shorted it for so long. Yeah.
Yeah, they were shorting it. So for those, do you want me to explain what a short is, Rob, or do you want to do it? I don't know. I don't want to kill your energy.
You go ahead and do it. I mean, we both know it. We've discussed it before, but you have a big audience and maybe they should hear it from you.
No, it's fine. So basically, like if you're going to short a stock, right, you're basically expecting the stock price to go down. So what you're doing is you're selling shares that you don't currently have, right, to people at a higher price with the intent to buy them back when the price goes down and replace those missing shares. So if you sell silver at 30 expecting it to go to 25, but instead it goes to 35, that's really bad for you, because you have to replace that silver. You have to buy it back. You are forced to buy it back, and they're going to be forced to buy that silver back at a higher price than what they sold it for, which is why they're going to take a major bath. I basically explained that correctly, I'd assume.
Yeah, you did a good job. I mean, that's basically, it's robbing Peter to pay Paul in simplest of terms that we've heard, in the old anecdote. And so, yeah, and that's the same thing that happened to, the company that GameStop. That's the same kind of situation happened back then when the GameStop thing happened on Reddit. So,
absolutely. Now, I did have a person earlier who was commenting. He says, I prefer the stability, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, but again, I'm not trying to get you to talk too much tonight. He says, I prefer the stability and value that gold represents. Now, what are your thoughts, Rob, on gold versus silver, the stability of gold? Because as much as I'm a silver bull, I 100% do acknowledge that gold is the more stable of the precious metals as far as value is concerned. What are your thoughts there?
I hate saying this out loud, but I started converting a lot of my excess silver just for room, having room in safes and just where I store silver. I needed room. So I converted quite a bit when gold was around 2,100. So I've done good on that. It's tough to convert it. I haven't been converting recently because gold's done so dang well. And I feel like there's going to be another dip. And I'm hoping there's kind of another dip so that I can convert some more. But I've been converting just for sanity and for room myself. I'm a big gold fan. I just don't talk about it as much on my channel because it's a little bit out of my price range to stack easily. And I don't like to buy fractional. And I like instant payday. In other words, I like stuff that gives me instant gratification now. And if I'm not going to be saving $500 over 3 months and then another $500 over, I can't buy 1 ounce a year and get excited about that. And I won't buy fractional with the premium. So because of that, it's been tough for me to stack gold as much, but stacking silver and getting instant gratification. And then when the dip or whatever, the price is good, the ratio, then I like to convert it. So I get that instant gratification. I can go get a full ounce of gold and feel like I accomplished something a few times a year. So that's kind of my take on it.
That's totally fair. And I talk about gold more on the channel than I used to. And I think a lot of people realize that I obviously stack gold. The reason I think that I'm much heavier on silver is because, as we've said many times, Rob, gold has hit well over 30 at this point, new all-time highs in the last year. And while gold is actually on a percentage basis has actually outperformed, or silver, I should say, on a percentage basis has actually outperformed gold, it's still, like we had just talked about, not even at its nominal all-time high, much less its all-time high adjusted for inflation. Yeah. So when I look at silver and I look at gold, I kind of, and I've said this in videos before, so I know some of the people watching are going to probably, have heard this more than once. But I look at potential and I think about, well, if we're going to see, let's just say for an example, if we're going to see gold and silver get back to a 60-to-1 GSR, or gold to silver ratio, for you guys that know what GSR means. Two things have to happen, or I guess three could happen. But in reality, two things have to happen. For it to get back to a 60 GSR, the value of silver needs to go up or the value of gold needs to go down. Now, that third thing that I said technically could happen is that they both go up. It's just that silver must still go up at a faster rate than gold does. So in all three of those scenarios, you're still better off with silver. But, that comes with the caveat of you have to believe that the GSR matters and that it is going to close that gap. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If you don't believe in the GSR, if you don't believe that gap's going to be closed, then everything I just said is 1,000% irrelevant.
In modern day, not historical as in going back to the early 19th century or anything, but I don't have it fresh. Maybe you do see, we've done video on it recently. Historically, if I recall, we're always in that 80 to 1 ratio, maybe I'm off a little bit, but what's the most recent last 30 years, what's the closest it's been in the last 30 years besides not including 1980, 2011? I don't know where it was then, but was it 40 to 1 back then?
No, it wasn't quite that. I actually can look it up. Let me see. I can actually look at that right here. Hold on. If my chart would load. So
and I mean, on the spot, it's not numbers we can have. We're not math whizzes here, but I mean, I know. I just was wondering where how close it's been in the last 30 years, including 2011.
So in that spike in 2011 that we were actually talking about at the beginning of the stream here, it got down into the 30s. Actually, it looks like the bottom was 32. This was on April 25th of 2011, 32.29. So that would be 32 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold. You know, today we're sitting at 90. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and I'm not thinking that, and it could. I'm not saying that it can't. I'm just not going to sit here and say that it's going to get back to 30 to 1. I'm just saying if it's going to get any closer than 90 to 1, which is where it is right now, it's, you know, silver's going to have to go up or gold's going to have to go down. Which one is it going to be? But in either instance, you win. If gold goes down and you had silver, you did better with silver. If silver goes up and you had silver, you did better with silver, to get back to that GSR. But like I said, GSR, if you don't believe in the GSR at all, then it literally doesn't matter. So I don't know.
If it gets back down to 35 to 1, I'm probably cashing in more silver for more gold then. I guess that's as it dips in the GSR, I'm cashing more silver when I can.
Listen, if silver and gold get back to in the 30s, like mid 30s even, you might want to change my channel name to Gold Seeker for some time. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because I will likely
or Gold Getter, because at that point you're taking your silver and getting the gold.
Well, you know, it's like, yeah, because I have a deep stack. I talk about, you know, how I have a deep stack and I have a light stack. My light stack is what I trade and barter in. It's what I use on my website. It's what I use in my auctions. My deep stack is the stuff that I don't intend on selling. That's the stuff that I'm going to keep and I hope that I die with. And the reason I say I hope that I die with it isn't because I want to die. I just mean that I hope that I never need it. And then when I'm finally gone, you know, that can go to my kids and they can, you know, do what they are going to do with it. Actually, was talking to one of my sons the other day who said that he would probably continue doing what I'm doing with it and stacking it, which I loved hearing. But, you know, that's one of 4. So we'll see. Well, I guess I won't see, but someone will see. But anyway, just because I wouldn't sell the silver out of my deep stack doesn't mean I wouldn't convert it into gold if at 30 to 1. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, I had to convert some of my deep stack silver into medical expenses this year, but hoping that doesn't continue. I mean, but it was good that I had that. You know what I mean? Because if I didn't have that, that gets tough.
Right. Gator's Golden Coins. This is here we go. He says, can you explain melt value and how do I find it? Melt value is basically what the value of silver or gold is and whatever the material is minus the non-silver and gold. So in sterling silver, 90% of the silver or 90% of the weight is silver. So you would weigh it, multiply it by 0.9. That's going to give you your actual silver weight. Then you just multiply that by spot. Your constitutional silver or your, you know, dimes, quarters, and half dollars, 64 and before. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Sterling silver is 92.5%.
I say something. Yeah.
I know. I caught myself.
You know,
this is why editing videos is great, because when I screw up, I can just record that part. But anyway, sterling silver, 92.5% of it is silver. The other 7.5% is copper. And so you would just multiply the weight by 0.925 or 92.5%, and then you would multiply it by spot. 90% silver, which are dimes, quarters, and half dollars, 64 and before. You would weigh it, multiply that by 0.9, and then you have your actual silver weight and just multiply that by spot. Now, with 90%, there is also obviously there's a certain amount per dollar. So there's 0.715 ounces per dollar that is adjusted for where we could get deeper. But at the end of the day, if you have a scale and you know what the percentage of your silver is, it's incredibly easy to figure it out. It's
just the way I look at it is melt value is the value of the metal that's precious. So if it's silver or gold, it's the value of only the metal. No numismatic value, no grading company value, no intrinsic value, no value because, it's a 100-year-old seated Liberty half dollar. It doesn't matter. There's no intrinsic, no graded, no numismatic value whatsoever. It's just the value of the precious metal, in this case, probably silver, of that's it. That's all that it's worth. That's what the silver's worth. Then you have to add in all the other things. Like if it's a 1932 D quarter, it's not going to be referred to by its melt value. It's going to have numismatic value and collectability value. So anyway, melt value is just take out all the BS surrounding it. It's just the nuts and bolts. What's my precious metals worth based on its weight that Seeker was talking about.
And it's funny you say that, because you would not believe the comments I get whenever I do a video talking about 90, or whenever I do a video even talking about like your pre-33 gold and I talk about the melt value. You would not believe and you probably would believe, but I mean the viewers that don't do YouTube would not believe the number of comments I get from people yelling at me for talking about melting it. No one's ever going to melt that. Why would you melt it? Why would you melt? You know what I mean? It's like, we're not melting it. When we say melt, we're referring, like you had said, to the value of the precious metal in the coin.
Every time I do a junk silver bag hunt and I say I bought this, here's the melt value, everyone's like, oh my God, you're melting constitutional silver. I'm like, if you know me, there is no melting silver. And only silver I melt is bullion to make something more fun for me to play with, like an RFP bar or something. That's the only, I'm not melting constitutional silver coins.
I mean, I've seen you melt some pretty high premium silver rounds before.
Oh my gosh. That one time I had the, what bar was that I had in there? The round that I had, it
was the Ron Paul,
I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, everyone in the video comments was like, Rob, I didn't even see it because I was so busy filming. I didn't see when I dumped the bag of rounds in that one of them was it was like a double premium round. And I was like, wow, I saw it when I edited it and I was like, they're going to say something.
I noticed it immediately, by the way. Like, I was like, what is happening here?
Yeah, it happens.
But I mean, I've melted maples before that were super milk spotted. I mean, whatever. At that point, you're not going to get more for them than you would a generic round anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Fireside had a comment.
Okay, I'm sorry. I've been talking and not.
Yep.
Wes Stiffen had a comment as well. Let's find Fireside's and we'll look at Wes Steffen's here. Fireside said Silver Seeker very high premiums back in 2023 are now less than what silver is selling for now. So yeah, so what he's saying is that even with the high premiums, it was still cheaper to buy it back then than it is today with today's low premiums. That is probably accurate. I mean, when you look at especially silver rounds, I mean, you were looking at $5-6 an ounce over spot on some dealers. Some dealers were, lower than that, $3.54 for generic rounds, but silver was $25. You're paying $29 now today. And it's funny, I've talked about this before. I said, when you think about premiums and, and I'm not like anything that I say here, I'm not innocent to a lot of this, right? I'm not saying it to say I'm holier than thou. I've never done this. This is a mistake you plebs make. No, I've made all these mistakes 1,000 times, including recently, right? But what I would say is, like I had actually said, it's like, think about it though. Yes, the premiums are high, but if you think silver's going to $40 an ounce, even 25 plus 6 is cheaper than $40 an ounce. So if you really do 100% believe that, it's probably still a better time to buy it now than then. And well, then is now, and that is exactly what happened. So thoughts on that, Rob?
No, I agree. I'm sorry. I was reading the Ricky the Scotty had a question, and like you said, Steph, and now you got Calvin Watson chiming in as well.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I apologize. I need to keep up more in the comments, guys. Our apologies. We still got a half hour here. Here's one. Blizzard Peak says, this may just be a comment, but he said, gold is for sure the best at hedging inflation, followed by silver. Also, it's for sure a lot less popular, but what do you guys think about platinum? What... I
think it's good in the catalytic or
catalytic converters. I get a lot of people asking me why I don't cover platinum on the channel. And the truth of the matter is that I'm not passionate about platinum. Now, I think, and I understand, there are a lot of people out there that love my channel. There's a lot of people out there that don't like me, and that's fine. But I think the people that do like my channel like that I talk about things with passion because I believe in them. I don't really like platinum very much. And so I'm not gonna fake it and get in front of a camera and start talking about platinum like it's my favorite thing in the world when in reality it's not. You know what I mean? So I'd rather just not talk about it than make a fake video. If that part,
I agree. I'm not passionate about it. And then I have people will say, what about palladium? I'm like, well, yeah, if you were to start buying palladium now, it's probably a lot smarter than it was from 2020 to 2022. You would have lost your butt if you bought palladium.
I have I have 1 ounce of palladium.
you lost. You're wait to cash that in 20 more years.
So
anyway.
To be fair, mine is the 2019 Proof Palladium Eagle that I actually sent off with the box still closed to have graded. It came back at 70. So it's part of my collection. We do have a couple of super chats. JT Coin the Ring says, hello, Seeker, Rob, and chat. JT Coin the Rings, thank you so much for being here and joining us. We also have Gunk with the $1.99 super sticker. Thumbs up. Thank you for that. Guys, I appreciate the super chats. They do help support the stream and what we do. But that being said, don't feel like you have to, but I definitely do appreciate them, and I will read the comments so long as they're in good taste and it's not some sort of troll message. I will read them, and I will make a priority to read them. So thank you for the support. Ricky the Scotty said, question, when converting from silver to gold, and I can pin messages. Here, we'll pin this one. It doesn't show up in the chat. Maybe we can do that in the future. But he says, anyway, when converting from silver to gold, what is the best way to do it? LCS, online, bullion dealer, other? Anything, Rob?
Well, I have a silver dealer that I buy exclusively from. And because of the exclusivity that I have with them, and I don't buy from the other ones in the area, he gives me better than public price, but not. He basically gives me wholesale. And I pay cash, so he gives me wholesale. So I convert with him. When I convert back with him, we know what I bought it at, and we kind of just make an agreement. So I get it. He buys it back better than the public, and I buy it from him better than the public. So but I don't. Not a lot of stuff is going back towards his way. But this year I had to, like I said, with medical expenses. So typically I would say that's how I'm doing it. That might not be the best for some people that are in BFE, and so maybe someone like Seeker might be able to speak more about that. You've done a lot of phone calls all across the country. Maybe you have a better idea of what they're paying across at different places. I mean, I wouldn't go to a pawn shop, but I probably would think about my local coin shop first. And then probably after that, the We Buy Gold and Silver shops, the little sandwich sign shops, those will be a little bit worse than the, they won't be pawn shop prices, but they'll still be pretty bad.
They'll be pretty bad.
Yeah.
Those shops. Well, listen, granted, I've never done a call video where I've called shops like that, but back in 2011, like 2010, 2011, they were popping up like weeds everywhere. They're not like weeds.
You can see them everywhere.
Yeah, they're not as abundant as they used to be.
I'm only bringing that up, Seeker, because if you're in BFE and you don't have a coin shop within 4 or 5 hours, and your only option to cash in some of your silver, you have 2 choices. You can go to Facebook Marketplace and try to meet someone, which is scary. Go to a bank, which is still scary, or you can go to one of the local resources that you have, and it might only be that. And I'm just bringing up places that you could try. So
for sure. Hey, Paula Bloom's in the chat. Love Paula. What's up? Says this may have been covered, but when silver goes high, does that affect premiums? I talked about this. Oh my gosh, No IQ with the 20. Guys, give it up to No IQ. $20 super chat. Thanks, you guys are great. No IQ, thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. Let's go. Paula, so I actually covered this recently with Josh. So what he had said is, with spot prices going up, there are a lot of people selling silver right now, and which means a lot of shops are going to have to start moving that silver back out to wholesalers. Well, if wholesalers are buying for more shops than they're selling to, they're probably going to have to eventually lower their premiums. When those premiums and then the shops that are buying it across the counter can also sell it at lower premiums, because let's say a wholesaler's paying 25 cents an ounce over spot for rounds, and I don't even think they're paying that strongly right now. I actually think they're paying back of spot, but let's say, for an example, a shop would do better to sell it across the counter at 50 or 75 cents than they would to ship it out and pay for shipping and insurance to a wholesaler for 25 cents an ounce over spot. So they may be inclined, if they're bringing in more product than they're selling, to lower the premium to move it out without having to ship it out to a wholesaler. So what I would say is that prices going up are actually probably going to end up, it will take a while. It's like a ripple effect. The ripple in the middle of the water gets to the shore eventually. It will probably take a while, but I think the premiums are already starting to come down, and I think they will continue to do so with spot prices going up. We'll see what happens, though. You never know in this market. People could go nuts. But good question for sure, and it's good to see you. Anything, Rob, on that?
No, I was just saying, it's funny when silver is up, my silver dealer and the shops call me a lot more because people are cashing in. They want to see if I need anything. The problem is I'm not always buying when silver's up. I'm waiting to see if it can go down a few bucks before I buy. So it's that game. I mean, right now, my local shops have a lot more silver than they normally have because there's people that are cashing in. Let's say they're abundant 90% Kennedy half, so they're 40%. I saw a question in the chat. Is it good to cash in the 40% right now? I would cash it in. I mean, if 40%, I always try to trade up. War nickels, 40%ers, my 80% Canadian stuff. I always try to, when silver's high, I do try to sell it, and then I'll hold on to it. When silver dips, then I'll take that fiat cash and go buy it at I'll go buy my 90 or my bet or my 3.9 fine silver. So yeah, I mean, if you want to get rid of it, make some room in your safe or wherever you're storing it, 40% is not the best way to store silver. It's good to get it free in the $50 hunts. It's good to win it on streams. It's good to find it in the wild. Oh, that's great. I get it. But you should be trying to trade that up to save space and to improve your purity of the silver that you're stacking.
Absolutely. Scorpio asked me if I could do a video selling 10,000 Eagles or 10,000 to international coin shops like in England, Europe, so on and so forth. I have to look into that. I might be able to. I think, yeah, I could say I'm visiting on vacation, but how many people go on vacation with $10,000 worth of silver in their pocket? Like, you have to get that through customs. It'd be kind of a nightmare, I would imagine. So, maybe I can say I have a couple of silver Eagles and see what they'll offer me. But I think if I called, a coin shop in Europe with a U.S. phone number and then asked them what they would, if they would buy my $10,000 worth of silver Eagles, I think they'd probably be pretty suspicious. But
can you still sell Levi's? Are you allowed to sell Levi's in Russia? Or you still can't do that? Remember, like back in the 80s, you couldn't bring 501s to Russia. I don't know if you were alive yet, Seeker, but you couldn't sell Levi's in Russia because it was against the rules or something because they were going for tons of money.
Yeah, I did not. Either I wasn't alive or I was young that I don't remember it. I don't know.
You were young. You were alive.
Okay,
but
fair enough.
You were young. So yeah.
So did we miss a couple of questions? Because you said you were looking at a couple of others.
I think you covered Ricky Descani. Another one was about nickels. That somebody said the mint stopped making nickels this year and things like that. I don't know. 2024 nickels have been tough to find. I found my first 3 today. Right. I find normally by this time of the year I've already gotten 30 boxes of brand new nickels I had to return. This year I've only seen officially 3 2024 Denver nickels in my area, which is nuts. So
Silver Jackal said, and maybe he's talking to someone else, but it was funny. I go swimming in my giant money bin all the time. That's my vacation. Is it like the Scrooge McDuck one? Or is it like the Family Guy one where he tried to imitate Scrooge McDuck and turned into blood and broken bones?
Yeah.
Coin Crew said I should block my number so they don't know where I am. Maybe. My accent may give it away, though. I mean, I'm from... I don't know what my accent sounds like. Other people have said I have an accent. Obviously, you don't hear your own. Can people tell where I'm, roughly from based on how I talk? I don't know.
It's funny. I got a story on that. I went to England for metal detecting with some guys that are YouTubers and stuff last year, and we were in a little town called Colchester out there in United Kingdom. And it's funny. We were in there. We were in a little tiny fish place where you order fried fish. And the second we started talking, the locals quickly turned around. And it took like 4 words out of our mouth. And they were like mouths agape going. And we looked at them like, what's wrong? They go, we never get Americans in this little town. It was a little tiny town. And they were amazed. They picked up our accent right away. And we're like, accent? It sounds normal. But anyway, you brought up what our accents sound like. You never know until you're in a foreign country how much different they perceive your accent to be than you even realize it is.
Absolutely. Sorry, my wife texted me, so I was just checking that while you were talking. My apologies.
I was filling up time while you were looking down. I was like, let me go ahead and keep talking.
I appreciate
What's up, Keith?
So Rising Dragon says I definitely have an accent, especially when I say quarter. Apparently, yeah, people have been giving me crap I can't talk. People have been giving me crap about the way I say quarter for 7 years now.
You know what? Everyone says it's funny you say that. I gave Nugget Noggin crap by how he says coins. If you ever watch Nugget Noggin, he's a metal detector. He says the word coins so weird. It's just I can't even copy it, but he says it funny. So anyway, right. You do say quarter kind of funny. Now I think about it, you do.
Yeah, people say it sounds like quarter.
It does sound like quata. Hey, real quick, have you noticed this, Seeker? But it seems like lower end peace dollars and Morgan dollars, lower end, they're going for a lot cheaper than they were, even though silver's up, which I know they're more numismatic. They seem like they're going for cheaper than they were going for a few years ago. Is it me, or have you noticed that as well?
I've noticed that it seems like it goes in cycles. When silver starts going up, the cost, the prices of your numismatic coins, especially your common stuff, starts to take a hit. And I think what it is when silver's dropping, people are putting their money into the numismatic side to protect it. When silver's going up, they sell all that stuff so they can buy more silver. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it feels like.
You could be right, because I've noticed that. I mean, I've been able to pick up not coal, but lower grade Morgans and pieces for cheaper than I used to ever could. Maybe it's because people are selling silver. You know what? It's probably this. My shops are stacked with that stuff, and so they're just trying to move it out in bulk to me. You know what I mean?
I'd like to pick up, I would love to pick up stacks of like MS63 common date piece dollars, like 22s, 3s, 4s. That'd be great. Like, because I remember before this last run up in the numismatic side, I was picking up these like piece dollar slabs, MS63 slabs, NGC, PCGS, didn't matter, like $26, $27, $28, depending on where I got them at coin shows. I had like, boxes of them just sitting out on the table. And, yeah, I bought a bunch of those back when I was doing the coin roll hunts for the mystery bags. I'd throw them in the mystery bags, so.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, no, I bought 4 or 5 rolls recently, and I got them at a better deal than I used to get them at, and they're nice. I mean, they're just nicer than normal, and they're not cool. It's not like you go to a coin show and the guy's got, the $28 Morgans out, and they're $28 Morgans. You know what I mean? Just a few dollars. And actually, now you know today, 90% of the price, they are more than that now. I mean, you can't even, what is it now? 30 something dollars? I guess it's a little bit less because they're not an ounce. They're 26.7 grams. But bottom line is $28 today is pretty much melt. And if you're getting them for melt, that's ridiculous. They're Morgan silver dollars. So I just noticed that they were a lot cheaper, but I think you hit the nail on the head. I think they're probably just in stock. People are selling stuff to stack other things too.
Well, I tell you what, we have a coin dealer in the shop, or in the show right now, Coin Crew. I'd love to hear his thoughts on that if he wants to type it out. Guys, by the way, give it up to Coin Crew. If you haven't been over to his channel, make sure you get over there and give him a sub. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. But yeah, Keith from Coin Crew, if you have any info on that, we'd love to hear it. So Wes Steffen says, I traded 470 1921 Morgans and 1922 piece dollars for 4 gold buffaloes. That's hold on. When did you do this? That typing you just heard was me grabbing a calculator. So let's assume silver's at 34, so times 0.77, so that's 26.18 per coin. That's melt roughly today. And he sold how many of them? 470. So times 470. 26. I just divided it by 470. So 26.18 times 470. So that's 12 grand. So what gold sitting at 2,700? So yeah, you could have like you paid a pretty decent premium on it if you bought them recently, because just straight gold to silver value is 4.55 ounces of gold. So about $1,200, $1,300 premium there. So I don't know. We'll see. Mean One says you need to stop dyeing your beard, you stud.
Yeah. I'm not ready to be Santa Claus yet. I mean, it's about 80 to 90% gray. I'm not a young buck. I'm 50 now. So it's a lot of gray in there, and I'm just not ready to be that gray yet.
Blizzard Peak with the $1.49 super sticker. Blizzard, thank you again for supporting the channel. Guys, thank you for all the support tonight. Really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Do you all think people are buying gold or selling silver to buy gold? I think most people are wanting to put their money into silver right now. I don't think all right. I was about to say I don't think anyone's buying gold. That's a flat out lie. I think there are more people buying silver than buying gold right now, was I was trying to say. Again, it's always fun when you're actually doing a video and you misspeak like that. You're like, cut. Live, it's a little bit more difficult, so you have to kind of like fix it.
And Keith answered my question. Morgans melt for about $25. Still, even a Cole Morgan at $28, that's ridiculous. And I was able to buy some VF to XF ones for around 30 to 32. That's pretty dang good. For me, buying rolls of XF Morgans for 30 to 32, I've never seen that. I've never spent less than 35 to 40 minimum in all the years. And so anyway, I was asking, but yeah, $25 melt. I guess they're still making a few bucks at 28. But what'd they buy them at? they bought them under melt then.
Oh, they almost definitely bought them under melt.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a good question. Any thoughts on the Star Privy ASEs? You mean the new Star Notes? Get it? Because it's $1 and it has a star on it? That was so stupid. That's a dad joke about Silver Eagles right there. What are your thoughts on the new Star Eagles, Rob?
I don't know much about them.
Oh, so the U.S. is putting out Silver Eagles with the Star Privy on them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, you said Star Note at some point, so I was picturing something else. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. I was being stupid.
You know what? I'm not going to miss out this time. I missed out on the last Flowing Liberty. I didn't like the metal. I did not like it. It wasn't made out of 90%. It had a lot of the nice features, but I just wasn't in love with it. But then the pictures on the U.S. Mint site did not do it justice. When I saw people opening the boxes, that the reverse on that Flowing Liberty metal was so nice. And those things are worth what? If you bought it, it's already unlike a car. You bought it, it's already worth more than it was the day you bought it. So I'm not going to miss out on the next one. No.
So my thoughts on that are, well, first, they did not sell out immediately like people thought they would. Like, they were available to purchase like 7-8 hours later. So I do think they sold out by the end of that day, but it took all day for them to sell out, which means you had plenty of time and opportunity to get them if you wanted them. I'm still not sold on them. I think it's just the mints. Everything's getting too expensive at the mint. Have you looked at the price of silver proof sets lately? Look at the price of silver proof sets and calculate the value of the silver inside of the proof set and tell me why.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, the mint is the world's biggest coin dealer, right? I mean, it's just a fact. And sometimes I wonder if I understand that they have to operate without costing the taxpayer money. And I actually appreciate that. But it seems like they're banking a pretty large profit. I don't know. It just seems like a little pricey for me, especially for modern stuff. And I know that the flowing hair is more valuable, but so was the 2021 Morgans and Peace Dollar. And you can get them a lot cheaper today than you were able to get them for after those came out. So I think they'll come down.
Everything is what happens is the FOMO kicks in after they're sold out. The price jacks up. Everyone starts to sell who knew the FOMO was coming. Then once the FOMO buyers are gone, the price goes right back down to normal again. And then if you just want to have some patience, you probably can get them already graded for what they were at the mint plus a few bucks. You know what I mean? You just gotta get rid of the FOMO. I have a little bit of FOMO on the Flowing Liberty. I'm not gonna lie. I wish it's a beautiful coin, and I'm a numismatic guy, and just the reverse on that thing, I'm in love with the way it looked on camera. So I wish I would have got it. I do allow myself to pay premiums for things I want, and I just didn't want that, but now I do. So I probably will end up paying a premium.
I definitely do as well, and I've shown things off on this channel that I've paid a massive premium on. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess maybe for me, I'm just still salty over the 2021 Morgan. I know I already brought that up, but I don't know about you guys, but I got pretty salty over them announcing the 2022s, and I know they didn't come out, but they brought them out in 2023. So, I was excited about it because, I have a Morgan set, and I was excited about, it's really cool to have the 2021s. That's going to be really neat. 100-year anniversary of the switchover. That's really cool. I want these, right? And I'm like, all right, cool. My set's still complete. Then you're like, oh, okay, well, we're going to do 2022s, which, again, got pushed to 23, but still. And it just seems like it turned into from something really cool that the community was behind. I mean, there were people making YouTube videos about it, saying email your senator, so on and so forth, to get them to even do it, not even knowing if it's going to be done. And then it gets done, and then the U.S. Mint's like, oh, well, this was a major cash grab for us. Let's grab even more cash by continuing it. And I guess for me, that kind of like, I used to order, if you watch this channel in like 2017, 2018, 2019, even, 2020, you would see multiple videos a year of me opening stuff from the mint. I'd order proof sets. I used to crack a silver proof set every single year for coins for my sets. I have not ordered a single thing from the US Mint since 2021. So I don't know, maybe my saltiness is carried a little bit too long. Maybe I need to let that go. I mean, I'm not going to say that the mint hasn't produced some pretty stuff. They certainly have, but I don't know. I was pretty bent out of shape on that one. Maybe I'm petty. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I agree. I'm just answering questions in the chat, so I'm sorry. Paula was like, it's different between the Star Privy and the Floating Liberty. I know the biggest thing about the Star, I don't even like the way the design of it looks. But my fear is that I'll have FOMO again, so I'm probably going to buy one. And then she said it's not released at the U.S. Mint, but you can get it from the online dealers. You can get them from. I haven't checked SD Bullion, but I'm pretty sure you can get one from SD Bullion as well.
Yeah, they do have them.
Sorry, so I'm just answering questions and listening at the same time.
No, you're fine. Bethany says they should do another coin hunt like the quarter one a few years ago. Need to get that the younger people interested. We should do a coin hunt again. Well, when Rob's feeling up to it, we could talk about it. I know.
I think she's also referring to the W quarter, just a release program. You know, I'm going to say this and I'm going to say it, and I don't want to beat this up because we only have 10 minutes. I know there's two sides of everything, but I think the coin community in general, not our online community, just the coin community as a whole, is starting to try to bring younger people in by doing the pack rips. They're doing a lot of the things that the other hobbies are big on, the Pokemon card pack rips and the baseball cards and all that stuff. They're doing pack rips. They're doing star privies. They have the W hunt. They have different things coming out. I think they are trying to bring in a new audience. And I know that some of that could be perceived as bad to some people, and I get why it could be perceived that way. But anything that brings in the younger people so that there's awareness of what precious metals are, their values that they hold, and another way to invest. I know it's not an investment, but put their money into something that might be worthwhile for their families, I think is a good idea. I think it's a good idea. You know, it's not as fun to just put pennies in an album like it was in the 60s and 70s for a lot of people. They want more collectability. They want something more fun. They need more instant gratification. And so sometimes we're going to have these new things that come along that might feel odd or feel uncomfortable, but if they're bringing in another audience, I'm for it to an extent.
Right. Well, maybe I should just do my own little pack rips for people.
Well, yeah. No, but think about it. Loot boxes, mystery packs. Even I'm doing mystery packs. You're doing mystery packs.
I am. I just meant like specifically like a pack rip like that. But I wouldn't want to because Bolts, I think, just said, and Bolts, I apologize. The bot gave you a 5-second timeout. Gambling is one of those words that is in the bot's like catch this. But anyway, I'm going to read his comments so people can see it even though the bot blocked it, and he should be unblocked already because it said 5 seconds. But anyway, he said the packs are too much like gambling for me. And they are, because I think, you know, the chase on those is too high. Like, yeah, it's, what are the rips? Like $100? The PCGS ones, what are they? Like $100, Rob?
Yeah, it depends. I mean, it depends on the program. There's a gold one coming out that's going to be $599, but it's a slabbed MS70 gold coin. So, you know, it's still about $100 more than its value, and you're paying the extra $100 in hopes of getting a coin that's 3 times what you're paying. You know what I mean? That's the hope. You just got to realize you're not going to get that probably. So as long as you go into it knowing you're not going to get it, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I you know, when I think about those, the chase is too high, and I think it's kind of goes back into, and I had some people like rip into me for bringing this up, but I had actually brought up like the lottery in one of my videos, talking about the people, like specifically the people, and I'm not talking about like going out and buying a single $2 ticket every once in a while. It's fun to drop $2 and dream on what it would be like if you won 500 million winning the Powerball, right? But I'm talking about the people that walk up to the counter and they'll drop, and I'm sure you've seen it in person, but my son worked at the gas station for a while. People would come in and they would drop on their payday. They drop $200 on scratchers and scratch them right there at the counter, right?
Oh yeah, that's almost it's paying something for literally nothing.
Right.
For literally nothing. You know, someone made a comment, the kids can't pay the price of those pack rips. I agree. And that particular program is not suited for kids. What that's trying to do is get the other collectors from other hobbies into the coin collecting community. You see it now. You go to coin shows. Sometimes there's comic book stands. Sometimes there's tables that have baseball cards. They're trying to get every collectors in general. I mean, let's face it. I don't just collect precious metals. I've collected other things. But I think all of us probably have another passion of something that we collect. And if not, well, that's I guess that's, for me, it's not for you. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to berate this point. I knew it's a hot topic. It's probably a whole nother show. All I'm trying to say is it's good to bring people that collect from other communities into the coin community so that when we go to the shows, it's not everyone my age and older there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's good to see other people that have money in their 30s and 40s entering the community as well.
Yeah.
and bringing their young kids with them.
I'd like to get your thoughts on this because Bethany brought up a point. She just said PCGS and NGC need to stop with the labels. The coin should be the focus, not the label. What are your thoughts on that? And really quick before you do, William Fowler with the $10 Canadian. Thank you so much. Me and my lottery are great friends. LOL. William, thank you so much for the support, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Anyway, what are your thoughts on that? Should these companies like back away from making all these special labels because they're basically trying to create their own collectability on top of the fact that it's the coin? What are your thoughts there?
You're not going to stop it. I mean, listen. I was with baseball cards before the big 1986 boom, and they all started going crazy when Donnie Baseball signed his Yankee contract. I cashed in. All of a sudden, cards. Ken Griffey came out with 1989 Upper Deck. That was a new company. Then they started doing signatures. Then they started doing only 50 of this kind of card. Then they put jersey stuff on there. The baseball card community got crazy. I don't want it to become that, but honestly, I think this is heading slowly that way. It's going to head that way. In order to keep excitement around, you're going to have these types of things that occur. So that being said, am I for it? Not 100%. Am I against it? I mean, I could be, but what's the old saying? If you can't beat it, join it to an extent. And so, I'm not going to have pack rips on my channel of RobFindsTreasure stuff. I'm not going to do that, but I still think there's a place for it to the right collectors. And I think some of those collectors are in the other sports hobbies that are spending thousands of dollars to open a box that has 3 football cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I see
only getting $700 in value, but they've had a chance to get a 1-of-1. So,
I mean, I collect Magic the Gathering cards, right? And recently they had a Lord of the Rings collector's edition set that had a Chase 1-of-1. I don't know if you heard about it, the One Ring. Yeah. So the One Ring is a card that you can get. There's a million of them out there. I mean, it's probably worth 20, 30, 40 bucks today if you get one. But there was a 1-of-1 serial 1-of-1 with a different art, full foil, and it was a chase card in the entire set. Only one of them was ever going to exist, the One Ring, and it was opened up by a kid, I think, in Canada. And who bought it? Someone bought it for like $2 million. It was oh my gosh. Why? I know his name. I see his face and his teeth. I can see his teeth right now, and I can't think of his name. I know that sounds weird, but you know what I'm talking about. Who bought the 1-of-1 ring UTG card? It was Post Malone. Yes, thank you. See what I mean when I can see his teeth? So,
I want to get
bought
back
the cereal. Yeah, $2 million graded. What's that?
I want to answer Bethany because she's still saying, a card is still a card with a signature, but a label is making it worth more is wrong. Nothing is wrong if someone's willing to pay for a label. We might not agree with it, but it doesn't make it wrong. If I hate that I have rookie cards of players, but it's not the most valuable rookie card. It's a common one. My rookie card's worth $100, and somebody who's got a 1-of-1 black label is worth $10,000. It is what it is. Grading companies have been putting labels on coins for decades now, and it makes them worth more. So you do buy the coin, not the label, but let's be realistic. The label is what makes the card or the coin worth more in some cases as well. So it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. That's all I want to say about that. We spent 8. I knew we'd spend 8 or more minutes on this, and I don't want to say goodbye with the last thought being, why are we buying labels, not coins? Because I'm not saying to do that either. So
yeah, always buy the coin first, in my opinion. But I get
always
it.
Buy the coin first. Always.
It's kind of like people that buy lowball sets. They're looking for all those poor ones.
It's the same thing. Okay, here's another. Someone just Fireside said it best. Why would someone buy a CAC sticker when it's a label, not the coin? Why would somebody buy a Rattler, a PCGS Rattler? That's the holder, not the coin. We pay more for stuff all the time, but when something that we don't sure of comes out, well, all of a sudden we're against it, or it's not comfortable. I am saying I agree to an extent, but you can't stop it. It's what's happening. And so you have to either embrace it or just steer clear of it, but we can't be misunderstanding why some people still want to do it. I have paid more for Rattlers in the past. I probably will still.
I have paid more for Rattlers recently, and I probably will
That's not the
continue
coin.
to.
That's the label, so to speak. It's the
Yeah,
holder.
well, you're not buying the label or the coin. I'm buying the old slab, the old original PCGS slab. So you're 100% right there.
Low ball Morgans. If it has a poor one on there, you're paying more for it. That's really, I know it's still the coin, but it's actually the label.
Yep, 100%.
Right.
Guys, it is 6 o'clock, and I would say we could extend this, but one, like we had talked about earlier with Rob's health, we need to make sure we don't overdo it. And two, his daughter's coming over so they can carve pumpkins, so I'm not going to take him away for that.
I got a few extra minutes if you need it, Seeker. She's not here yet. I mean, we do want to get off, but in case there's anything you want to end with, so it's not ending with the coin, not the label talk.
Well, Bethany asked another question, so we'll answer it. What is with the Rattler? You trust the grade more? No, well, first off, people can, like, a lot of those Rattlers were undergraded. So there are people that literally buy Rattlers with the idea of cracking them and sending them in for resubmission. So they are
buying the coin in that case. They are.
Yeah, they are buying the coin, right. But for me, I actually collect the Rattler itself, and it's just the provenance of, you know, the original style PCGS holders that the coin was just a little bit loose in, and you know, I just like them. Like, it's just something really cool about them. I really enjoy owning them, so I actually do buy Rattlers, and I do pay more for them, and I have quite a few in my collection, and I've shown some of them off before, and I will probably continue to buy them when I see one I like. So, but yeah, other than that, yeah, those are known to be undergraded. So a lot of people will look for Rattlers that are clearly undergraded, crack them, resubmit them, and make a lot of money doing it. I know people that specifically go, and I know Coin Crew knows these guys as well, that specifically go to coin shows looking for Rattlers that are undergraded to buy them and resubmit them. So, well, Gary, I can't show you one right now because I don't keep the majority of my stacking collection where I live. So I don't have that stuff here with me. For safety reasons, I literally don't keep it here. So I unfortunately cannot show you, but I will show it off in another video in the future. I'll pull one out and make a video or something with them.
I thought I had one. I only have a Gen 2.
You don't have one?
No, I don't have one. I don't have one handy.
Oh, dang, I'm sorry.
I have them. I just don't have one like next to me.
I've shown them off on the channel before, and if you go on YouTube and search for PCGS Rattler, you'll find one. I just, like I said, I don't have one here to show you. So.
And by the way, my kids are old. My daughter is she's getting close to 30, and she really wants just to have a pumpkin carving night with us. So we haven't done it in 15 years or something. So anyway, yeah, that's why we had to go out and buy pumpkin carving kits because, like, where the heck do we do with all these things? So anyway, it'll be fun, kind of.
Is she married?
Fun hanging out with her.
Is she married?
No, she's bringing her boyfriend, though. They've been dating pretty seriously. She doesn't like weak men, and she doesn't like jerky men. So it's hard to find the guys that are not too nerdy and not too tough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She wants in between.
That makes sense. Well, tomorrow, let me know, 15 years since you've done a pumpkin carving session. She's bringing her boyfriend by to spend some time with her daddy. So tomorrow when we talk, let me know when she's due. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Just kidding. This is how she breaks. I'm just kidding, though. I'm kidding.
I know. You're good.
So, all right, guys, we are going to cut it off here. Listen, thank you for joining us. Thank you for the super chats from you guys that left them. That really does help out, and I appreciate that. And it's such a pleasure to have Rob here on the channel. Rob, thank you for joining me. I was hoping to have you a couple of weeks ago, but I'm glad that you're feeling a little bit better and able to get here on the stream with me. Guys, I'm sure there were questions that we missed. If we did, we'll be doing this again in a couple of weeks for sure. I don't know who the guest to be yet, but I'm thinking maybe Josh from My Not Coin and Bullion. So if you guys are interested in that, if you haven't done so yet, don't forget to subscribe. And make sure you go over to Rob's channel and subscribe to him. I put a link to his channel in the description below. He has a great channel, especially if you love coin hunting and coin roll hunting, but also for other things as well. And Rob's one of my best friends. So
we're buds forever.
Make sure you support one of my best friends. So
thank you. And Keith.
And make sure you support Keith at Coin Crew and Ravenhawk Coins. Those guys are also awesome. So yeah, we're going to call it here. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you in the next one, and have a good rest of your weekend.